Hi guys, I wanted to do a quick video to show you how I use both ADJ and Chauvet wireless lighting products in my DJ setup. Now this isn't meant to represent one of my actual setups, but just to show you how it all hangs together and works. So let me take you through a quick tour of what we've got here in front of us. So on the floor is an ADJ Element Hex. Just to the right of that at the back is a Chameleon QBar Pro, another Element Hex in the center, another QBar Pro to the right, and then finally an Element Hex on the right hand side. And in front of that are 8 Chauvet Freedom Sticks. Now on the table in front of me, or behind me, I have got an ADJ Airstream DMX bridge, a Chauvet Gobo Zoom USB Gobo projector, and in the back of that I have got a Chauvet USB DeFi wireless adapter as well. Okay, so now I'm controlling all of this using LightRider on my iPad. So let me just talk you through what's actually happening. So LightRider is sending DMX commands to the Airstream bridge over Wi-Fi. And what the Airstream bridge is doing is actually two things. Firstly, it's sending those or broadcasting those DMX commands out over WiFly to all of the ADJ lights I've got out in front. So that will be the Element Hexes and the QBar Pros. Okay. Now the Airstream bridge also has a wired DMX cable into the back of the Gobo Zoom USB. So the Gobo Zoom is also being controlled by DMX, and in fact I could, if I wanted to, adjust the brightness and the rotation direction and speed of the Gobo Zoom projector, all from LightRider. The Gobo Zoom, because it has a DeFi adapter in the back, and that DeFi adapter is set to transmit, is also very kindly broadcasting DeFi out to my Freedom Sticks. So what's actually happening now is we've got two different wireless protocols, both being broadcast over the airwaves. That's WiFly to the ADJ products and DeFi to the Chauvet, in this case the Freedom Sticks. So let me just go and show you what that looks like when I introduce some effects in LightRider. So at the moment I've got them set to a single static color and paused. If I switch to something like a sparkle effect in LightRider, what you'll see is each of the items sparkling. Now the Freedom Sticks I've got set up in 50 channel mode, so this means that LightRider can individually address each of the pixels or each of the individual LEDs in each stick, and if you do that you get a rather nice sparkle effect. If I were running these Freedom Sticks in 3 channel mode, that would mean that LightRider would treat each stick as a single fixture with a single LED effectively, so the whole stick would flash rather than each individual light. So although it's a bit more complicated setup, it's worth actually using something more flexible like 50 channel mode, because as I say, you get a much better overall effect using something like LightRider. And you'll see that each of the items, each of the fixtures are all sparkling away. The QBar Pros are flashing away, each one of the 3 LEDs. The Element Hexes are all flashing. Now if I introduce a second colour in LightRider, so if I go for something like pink, what you'll see is the second colour now flashing. I'm just going to slow the speed down a little bit so that you can see it a little bit more clearly. Okay, so you'll see that they're kind of flashing. I've also got a small amount of fade on there. So if I turn the fade right off, you will see that they should sparkle. Yeah, I'm going to turn the fade right up, so that's speed. I'm going to change the right one. My apologies. Turn the fade right off. You'll see each light pinging on and off. So that's something like the sparkle effect. If I switch to using carousel with these two, you'll see now that each pixel and each stick starts to alternate the 2 colors, and as are the Element Hexes and the QBar Pros as well. And you can play around with those effects, change the speed slightly so that it gets a bit more, speeds it up a little bit. You can introduce some fade, so it's not quite such a harsh change between the colors, but more of a fade. And I can also introduce more colors as well. So if you wanted to turn it into a complete fairground, you can do that if you wish. If I switch to something like the disco ball effect, now that will actually flash all of the fixtures a single color, and as you can see, I'm going to just pull out it's slightly easier to show you if I pull out some of the actual colours. So that I'm gonna flash just blue, pink, and probably let's go for something almost white in the middle. Okay, turn the speed up slightly so that you can see that, and you'll see that. So now every single one of my lights is flashing one colour. So the Element Hexes, the Freedom Sticks, the QBar Pros, they're all doing the same thing. Okay, if I switch to something like the Light Rider effect, which I'm sure any Light Rider fans will know, now what that does, that attempts to sweep a single kind of light colour across all of your fixtures. Now remember that these Freedom Sticks are actually running in 50 channel mode. So Light Rider, it rather looks at the moment as though Light Rider is actually switching each stick on and off. But if I slow it right down, you'll see that actually it's not switching each individual light on and off. Actually, it's ripping through, switching each pixel on and off. So although I may only have something like what we've got for 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fixtures here, Light Rider is treating each one of these as individual LEDs. So it's quite powerful what you can do with it. As far as the Freedom Sticks are concerned, you probably will never manage to recreate some of the cool patterns that the Freedom Stick Masters can manage on their own, because Light Rider can't individually pixel map patterns. But it can certainly create some pretty cool effects. And I strongly recommend that you actually kind of do what I've done here, fire them up at home, have a play around with them, and see what you can do. If I switch to something like the fades, again, turn the speed up so that it's not quite so slow. You can introduce, turn the fade off for a little bit, introduce a slight shift. So here what's happening now is that Light Rider is sending a whole load of color change commands, but actually shifting them across the lighting fixtures. So again, you can create some quite cool effects. So that's really it. What I wanted to kind of show you is what you can do as long as you've got all of your lights set up correctly, and it is completely possible to use both ADJ WiFly products and Chauvet DJ DeFi products, all in the same lighting configuration, lighting setup. You just need to know how to kind of set up your DMX cabling and set up your DMX wireless DMX kind of DeFi or WiFly broadcasting so that they all talk happily together. If you've got any questions, just ping me a quick note. As you'll probably know, I'm part of the ADJ Airstream DMX Facebook group, the Light Rider help and support. This also applies to things like the ADJ WiFly NE1 as well, albeit to a slightly more limited extent. So you can find me in any of those groups. Just ping me a question. I will try to put up a small picture of how I have wired and used the wireless capability here. But yeah, just ping me any questions you've got. I hope this kind of makes some sense. It's not been too complex. And if you've got any questions, give me a shout. Okay, thank you very much.